I'm just going to show one of these individually because going through each one would be difficult, time-consuming, boring. There is a clip ring in here that looks like these. Just little snap rings. There's a groove inside there. So basically, these are called floating pins. What you do is you take the pin out, obviously. You slide this, and I always lubricate the inside of this hole, wipe it with a lint-free cloth, lubricate the inside with the Lucas Assembly Lube. Then obviously you slide this over that hole, you'll flip it, and you push this pin through. And then if you look now, you can see, if it'll focus, there's a groove in there. That's where that snap ring goes. After you do that, push this up against there, it should stop, and it should be seated in there properly. See how that pin's floating? Once you have that ring in there, it'll stop at that ring right there. Okay? That groove. Then you'll flip it over, install the ring in this groove. So that keeps that pin so that it can't go anywhere except for, swiveling this way obviously, but it can't go to and fro like that. It'll stay set up against that pin, and the other side will keep it set. It's at a set distance. And that's obviously as it's over the top of the connecting rod. Lubricated. I lubricate the pin as well as the inside of the bore here really well after you wipe it out with a lint-free cloth. So that's the piston installation. And then the rings is very simple as well. You've got an orientation. So there's you're looking at it at the top of the piston in front of the engine, and it's self-explanatory. Number 1 ring gap is your top ring. Number 2 ring gap is your bottom ring. So they're 180 degrees from each other at about 1 and 7 o'clock. Then you've got your oil control rings. That's the gap of the upper side rail, the lower side rail, so you're basically like at 11 and 4. And then the actual ring expander, which is this one. There's the top and bottom rings. This is the expander that goes in the center. It's got a perforated part. You put it with the perforated part up, actually. So that gap right there will be butted together, and that's where it says ring expander gap. So your number 2 ring, your middle ring, and your ring expander gap will be set at the same point at about 7 o'clock. So there it is. Obviously you can see that my snap ring is in the groove there. My snap ring is in the groove there. If I push on the back side here, it can't come forward. That way I know I'm seated. Go to the other side, push. It's not coming forward, the ring is seated. So now you can swivel obviously, but you can't go to and fro this way. Now I'm going to lubricate the inside of these. Going to pop this cap off, lubricate the inside of this bearing with some assembly lube. I'm going to lube the crankshaft with some assembly lube pretty generously. That way you just know that you're covered. And I'm going to put my ring compressor on, and I'll show, once I have the ring compressor on, I'll show you the installation going into the piston bore.